So geology is a field-based science. That means we collect data, we make observations, we try to detect patterns in nature, and we have to do that outside. There's a lot of stuff you can learn inside, but the important stuff, sort of the culmination of what we learned, will happen outside on field trips. So one of the requirements for this course is to complete 2 field trips. And I'm going to discuss here how you can go about satisfying that requirement. Field trips really are the highlight of the class, and so I hope you really look forward to these and take advantage of these opportunities. So there's 3 ways to complete the field trips. One is you can attend a field trip with me, go on an instructor-led field trip, and there's 2 opportunities to do that. Excuse me. The first one happens on February 28th at 9 a.m. at A Mountain, also known as Sentinel Peak. We will meet there. We will spend some time walking up and down Sentinel Peak, looking at the geology and just trying to understand the geologic history of what happened there and why it happened there. The next opportunity is on May 1st, also at 9 a.m. Oops, May 1st, 9 a.m. And that's at Sweetwater Wetlands. And there we'll be looking at the relationship of surface water, groundwater, and other water-related issues around Tucson. More information on both of those in terms of maps, like where to go and how to find me, are available on D2L. So there's 2 opportunities for instructor-led trips. There is another trip mentioned in the course calendar, a trip tentatively scheduled excuse me, mid-April to Grand Canyon, which could count for one of your field trip requirements here. However, as I mentioned, it's tentatively scheduled. I'm pretty sure that the trip will happen, but it's not entirely up to me, and so I wouldn't necessarily depend on that right now. So, but here's your 2 instructor-led trips, February 28th and May 1st. Those are both on Fridays, and so if you're able to make those, great. If you're not, there are other ways of completing this field trip requirement. One of them is to complete a self-guided trip to A Mountain. You can go and check out the geology of A Mountain, Sentinel Peak, on your own, and we provide a bunch of resources that I'll show you here in a second in terms of how to do that. Another opportunity is to do a self-guided field trip, go on your own to some other place. Okay, you can, as long as it's geologically relevant, as long as there's something useful to learn there, you can do a field trip kind of to wherever you like. And so let me get into a little bit more detail on these self-guided options. So, excuse me, one option is to take a self-guided field trip to wherever you want. And so if you live near Tucson, I provide a bunch of suggestions as to where to go and a whole lot of resources as to how to prepare yourself and to really get something out of that trip. If you don't live near Tucson, that's fine too. You can figure out another place to do a self-guided trip. Just let me know ahead of time so we can talk about it a little bit, just to make sure that it will provide an equivalent opportunity and that you'll really get something useful out of it. So that's one option. You can take a self-guided trip kind of to wherever you'd like, and I provide a bunch of resources as to how to do that and some suggestions where to go. The other option is to do a self-guided trip to A Mountain, to Sentinel Peak. All right, and in fact, we provided a bunch of detail as to how to do that, including a map of the geology, a sort of phone-based app that will help guide you around to the most important places and the things to look at, and some stuff to do while you're there to make sure that you get a good experience out of it. And so plenty of resources there if you choose to do this self-guided option to A Mountain. All right, so just to remind you, there's 2 field trips that you need to do. You can go on an instructor-led trip with me. You can do a self-guided trip to A Mountain, or you can do a self-guided trip to somewhere else. These field trips can be completed really any time during the semester, but they need to be done by the end of modules 13 and 14. One trip needs to be done by the end of 13, and the other by the end of module 14. If you can, I highly recommend that you attend the instructor-led trips with me. Having someone knowledgeable and sort of prepared to help you understand what's going on there will really provide, I think, a better experience. The self-guided trips work certainly fine as long as you do a little research and prepare yourself before you go. But if you can, I suggest that you do the trips with me. The other advantage of that is on the instructor-led trips with me, you just have to show up and participate, and you're done. The other 2 trips require a short field trip report, which you do afterwards. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions about this, please let me know.